Good evening, everyone, and welcome. We are Random Encounter Productions. I'm Cody Stone. With me tonight, we have
Matthew, and I'm playing Clever Stitch, the Tabaxi Arcane Archer.
Caitlin, and I'm playing Fable Frost, the Ace Genasi Phoenix Soul Sorcerer.
Man, we'll do that one more time. I'm Megan, and I'm playing Sarai Landir, the amazingly eloquent bard.
And I'm Eric, and I'm playing Sirach, the Arakakra Horizon Walker Ranger.
And I'm Carlos, and I'll be playing those in Fahrenheit, the half-orc tiefling, Forge Cleric.
All right, guys. So we do have a couple of announcements, but before we get to those, want to say happy anniversary. We began this the first Monday in February of 2020. So officially, it has been a year that this campaign of Disasters in Danger has been going. We've been streaming longer than that. We did have campaign 1, which was a very different style game. Had a lot of fun things to it. We really enjoyed it. So that goes back further. But for this particular campaign, it has been a year. So congratulations, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us. Super excited to have all of you here. But let's get to announcements so we can get to the good stuff. Take it away, Matthew.
So the first announcement that I have for us is our wonderful sponsor. So as you all probably know, we have been working with Norse Foundry for a long time. They're a wonderful, absolutely amazing sponsor. And so I have this really cool set that Megan got me of these really, really neat metal. Oh God, you're not gonna. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? I'm a beauty tuber. But they're amazing. They're gorgeous. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Cody's a beauty YouTuber too. He did the hand thing. It's essential.
It is. I always think of I always think of the old school Power Ranger. It's morphin' time. That's, yeah.
I mean that too if you're straight.
Sure.
They're people.
But yeah, they're amazing. We love them. And if you use our affiliate code, you can get a whopping 15% off. That code is REPRPG. That's REP RPG, and you'll get 15% off your order. It's an amazing deal. They have stellar dice. They have aluminum. They have other metal ones. They have regular acrylic ones. They have gemstones.
I will jump in and say their gemstone dice, their precision cut aluminum dice, all of their top end dice are, starting like the 70, 80, 90, 100 and like up range. They do have less expensive dice. But
Yes.
Whenever somebody's like, "Oh, it's 15% off." I'm like, "Oh, so I get like $1?" No. Like it is a chunk. It makes a difference on a big bill like that. So
Yes, it sure does. So yeah, it's oh yes. So it's Rep RPG. Again, that's REP RPG for 15% off your order with our wonderful sponsor, Norse Foundry.
cool.
Thank you for that, Matthew. And now I would like to talk about other people who have made our show possible, including the designer of our brand new overlays. If you like our new overlays, which we absolutely love them, we've just rolled them in. We're soon getting matching nameplates and panels for all the characters. This is all designed by Carlos Tamahon at Tamahon Media. I've just posted his website in the link there in the chat. Please visit him. He's fantastic, does all the graphic design for not just us now, but also Crafty Gamer Shop, which is where I met he and his wife. They're fantastic people, but check out Tamahon Media. Wonderful graphic designer, great eye, gave us exactly what we wanted and needed and asked for. First time, like, phenomenal. So thank you again, Carlos, and everybody check him out.
Cool. Up next, Meg.
So crap. Oh my God, this is going so phenomenally well today, guys. On Thursdays, we've started a new show. I think this is going to be our third or fourth one. It's myself and Eric down in the bottom corner. Say hi, Eric.
Hi, Eric.
Attaboy. The show is called The Archives, and we recap everything that's happened on Monday's episode of Disasters in Danger. We talk a little bit about D&D, all sorts of remarkably random things. And I believe this week Eric owes us a story. Jaws. He owes us the Jaws story.
No one needs to hear that.
Well, I've said it, so it's happening. Also this week, in a very special anniversary and pre-Valentine's episode, we have a wonderfully special guest. There's a motherfucker over here. Carlos is coming. Don't
Yes,
act surprised.
I
You
am.
asked.
I forgot it was a Valentine's episode. I have to dress up. I don't know what I'm gonna wear.
It's just gonna be you two talking about Thosin and Sarai's relationship, and honestly, I'm here for it. Let's
We'll
go.
get kicked off Twitch. Don't do that. We're not on
It's the
Camster
video.
yet.
Here's-
That's
I have to get a Valentine's gift.
I am calling this right now. This is what's going to happen Thursday. Eric and Carlos are going to have very competent, coherent conversations, and I am just going to be giggling the entire time.
Okay.
That's it. Every time Eric will be like, so let's talk about Sarai and those, and I'll just and finished. So, if you want to
Or
see me
just gonna
chipmunk
end
out on Thursday.
Or it's just going to end up being me as sort of a impromptu marriage counselor at the end with a notepad going, and how does that make you feel?
I'll start my list of appropriate King Talk videos to start sending to people after the fact. So, but that is Thursday at 7:30?
7:30
Yeah,
EST.
Yeah,
Thursday-
7:30
Thursday at 7:30.
Eastern time. 5:30 California time.
Which you can now see in our new overlay schedule that has all of the times in it for all the shows. I think that's it, babe.
Sounds good to me. Awesome. All right, let's get into tonight's adventure. Our adventure takes place in the lands of Lichtdracht. They are lands of myth, lands of legends with very few gods, a land where fate is written in the blood of others. It is also a land named, quite literally, Land of Dragons. And other than some rumors of dragon breeding grounds in the mountains back near Dorian's Dawn, our intrepid adventurers, our archivists, who are on a great sojourn across the continent to reach the Forge, have not seen or heard of any dragons in the Land of Dragons. And this became apparent to them last week when they spent a little bit of time talking with their good buddy Screevers, probably the oldest kobold on record, although he has not reached their maximum age by any means. They just don't usually live that long.
What is their maximum?
I think it's around 130, and he's just over 100. So
We've got him for a while.
But also, normally they don't live that long because they're kobolds.
Yeah.
So it's 60 and they're done. 70 maybe if they're
That's
lucky.
like saying a mosquito can live 1,000 years. Not if I get it. No, it can't.
So
Exactly.
they can live a very long time. They mature in days. They don't last long because they're not here for a long time. They're here for a dragony time. Really.
Yep.
A fanatical
An okay
dragony time. Yeah. So but for some reason Screevers is a little different. He's the oldest undeclared major at the Magnus Exploratorium. So you guys are making your way across the lands. You have just left the Castle Diabolic, a place that you had stumbled into somewhat by accident. Your map is only as good as the people that drew it, and they had left off this ruined castle and keep. Now, as you think about it, probably people shouldn't go there. But who knows what their motivation for that was. You've made note of it. You were warned by one of the arms of the Fated, Dawnbringer, that this was not a good place, and whoever lived there was beyond everybody's ken. So you guys are making your way out across the plains. I'm going to, somebody roll me a d4.
Yep, Matthew's got it.
That's a 2.
A 2. All right. So we're going to pick up our adventure about 2 days after you guys have... Yes. The 4th? Is that what you're telling me, Eric? Great. So that is the 4th of Savages. So you guys are going to pick up... no. Yeah. Are we in Savages or are...
We are
Yes,
in
we are.
Savages.
Yeah, we
We
just
ended,
ended math, right?
Yeah.
we ended on the 2nd of Savages, so
Great.
2 days later.
I thought so. I got to make sure.
I've been making classy bougie ratchet comments this entire time.
The whole month long. Yeah. Yep. So winter is right around the corner. We are in late fall at this point. You guys definitely wake up every morning to frost on the ground. It doesn't quite freeze over the high grasses, but you can definitely see large areas where it hasn't rained in a little while, or areas that are more they're starting to turn brown, and the frost is definitely down near the roots, where the sun doesn't quite pierce to. That does sort of keep the grasses alive for a while, You guys are about 2 days past. Is there anything special that you guys are attempting or needing to do as you are traveling?
Yes, I need to roll my nature checks, please.
Okay, we're going to do these one per week. Make me a nature check, please.
Listen, I wasn't worried that he was going to be a dragon until they were like, we haven't seen dragons in a really long time. And I was like, but what if it is Togepi? Okay.
Can I inspire her?
Please?
Yeah.
Okay.
She just walks by and sings the Pokemon theme once a week.
Oh my god, that inspires Caitlin. Forget what Fable's doing. That inspires Caitlin.
Megan doesn't really know what it is, so just
And it's a plus what for a inspiration?
D8.
Thank you. 21 on week 1.
Okay. Your egg seems to, you're doing a good job of keeping it warm and healthy. You're not sure how long it needs to mature, but
Okay.
But yeah.
I hold. Did you need another? How many weeks you said? 3?
So far we've only done 1. So
All right, then I'm good.
You're good for now, but when we get another weekend, we'll do another one, okay? Is there anything else that you guys need to do as you are traveling?
I am constantly checking on the horses and kicking the proverbial tires of the cart, trying to get my land vehicle proficiency.
Okay. Yeah, so 2 more days on that. I think you still have probably 10 days left to finish the 2 weeks that you needed, I think.
Thank you.
Okay. Sounds good.
So I would ask Thozen if he could send to Wyatt, see where they are.
Yeah, just let me know exactly what you want me to say, and I'll repeat it as is. You have 25 words.
I think it would be best if you said it. If it's me, it's probably going to end up coming out insulting. So
I can filter it. What would you like me to say? Just, hey, what are you?
yes.
Okay, and I will do that then. I will do sending or cast sending to Wyatt and ask, hey Wyatt, this is Thozen. We were just wondering where your location is at the moment. We are currently traveling to the tower. So, yeah.
Love you. Does anyone else feel like if you don't use all 25 words of sending, like you're wasting?
Don't play. I almost asked if you
Yes.
were campaign, but this is the different campaign.
It's
Yeah.
it's one of those like the one word you leave out for brevity is the one he needed to hear. It's like, ugh.
Do me a favor. Roll me a percentile.
$81.
Okay. That'll work. 81. And repeat your message for me.
Oh God, word for word.
Or you can redo it. I would like to hear the actual
Okay.
words. I was slightly distracted. I apologize, but
It's okay.
please.
I said, hey Wyatt, this is Thozen. We were just wondering where your current location is. We are on our way to the tower. So, yeah. That was pretty much it, right?
Okay. Roll me a d4.
2
The number of the night, apparently.
for the D4s, yeah.
Oh.
You perform the sending spell, concentrating as you do. And something feels odd. Have you used sending before?
I think so. I don't remember. I honestly don't remember if Thozen has ever cast it before.
I don't think you have on stream, but you can make me either a history or an arcana check.
Oh no. The history, that's gonna be a 6.
Okay. What I will tell you is you don't know for certain. You haven't cast this spell enough to really be certain how it's supposed to feel or how it's supposed to go. But it's sort of like tasting a food for the first time, and you're like, I don't know if that's right, but I know that that's not good. You know, like it doesn't sit right with you. There's something instinctual about it that makes you a little uncomfortable. And so you send, you wait because they can reply. And a couple of minutes goes by, and then you hear in your mind, unsure. Caravan should have reached northern tower.
I hate that. What ate them?
10 syllables so far. I wonder if his is shortened for some reason.
No, I'm counting them as I go. So,
Cody's writing it out.
I am. I'm writing it as I go. Northern Tower. Set upon by Hobgoblins. Working with no or unsure.
Well, good.
Things stolen. Chess included.
I am so sorry. I lost half of it because I had to
They
log
were
off
set
and
up.
log back on.
That's okay. They were set up, pawned by hobgoblins. A bunch of stuff was stolen, including the chess set.
Got it. Because I got no, and that's why I got cut off, and I just yelled no really loud in my house.
Committed. I love it. Ah!
I don't like that.
21.
I hate all of that.
There's a pause. He still has 4 words left to say. Hurt badly. Please help.
Got it. I'm so sorry. Would you be able to repeat after no?
Yes. After no. 4. Unsure. Things stolen. Chess included. Hurt badly. Please help.
Got it. I'm gonna turn this around. Be like, I don't think things went very well for him. Apparently, they are hurt very badly, and they are asking for help.
Did he say where they were?
He is unsure. The caravan should have reached the northern tower, but I think they were attacked upon by hobgoblins.
So they're unsure where they are because they can't see, because they've been taken prisoner, or just he's lost?
He just said unsure. I can try to send him another message, but as it was, that one felt a little off. I don't know why. It just didn't seem right in the way that it sent out.
Did he say anything about the chess set?
Yes, it's been stolen. I take a step back from Saride. So wait, what season are you? Okay, I just take one step back.
Just gonna go take a quick 4-hour power nap, slip into summer, and then just light something on fire. No, she will walk away and start swearing in Orcish. Because it's a lot more effective than Elvish swearing.
That's actually accurate. I feel like Elvish swearing just sounds pretty.
Well, yeah, it's like Shakespearean insult. She just needs to scream "fuck" really loudly right now.
So, when they say the northern tower, looking at the map, are they talking about the one above the Warden's Tower?
Those are all Warden's Towers. They are the major Warden's Towers. I just simply didn't want to write it over each one. You would suspect that the one on the map furthest to the north is the tower that they were headed towards.
So, that's not a quick journey.
I mean, we were planning on going to the one that was underneath it, but I think that we just have to make a detour and hoof it. So we go as fast as we can, right?
Well, he didn't make it exactly to the tower. They said that they were headed there. So essentially, it might not be the entire trek to the actual tower itself. Maybe it's somewhere in between.
Here's to hoping. That way we can get there faster.
Hopefully we can find some old tracks.
Is Screebers around?
Yeah, you can look for him.
Screebers! Excuse me. Can't believe I'm saying this. You're like one of the wisest creatures I've ever met, and you have an awful lot of stories which I love.
What?
Yeah, I know. I was just as surprised. Really?
Oh man, you gotta get out more.
That's accurate, but in this particular case, I think you might know what I need to know. Do you know anything about the hobgoblins in this area?
This area?
How they march, why they fight, what they do, anything about them at all that would help us maybe, I don't know, track down some who have attacked our friends?
Oh. Who got attacked?
Not entirely sure yet, but in the meantime, anything at all you can help with would be great.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I know some hobgoblins. Let me think. So, hobgoblins traditionally live in the north. Let me see. Lodendarvekt, a lot of people there. More hobgoblins than in Lodensravekt. And, most of their military up in the northern forest and into the lakes and then over to the marches. But they got kicked out of that area pretty hard by the Republic or the Black Gem. Most of the tribes spread out after that. Voshkov's Ulit, that was Hobgoblin capital back when the tyranny was here. So, I don't know.
Okay, a little less on the history and more on, like, what they want, how they fight, if they usually travel in groups of 10 or groups of 4,000.
And
Saride?
Tough to say after the March of Claves, but I'd say, you should know, like, hobgoblins are military people. They don't live in tribes. They live in, like, how do they put it? Battalions. I don't know. So they fight as groups, but they usually you can't use all the, like, just one big army, mostly because Fireball and Dragon's Breath. So smaller units, and they sort of, I don't know. It's very rhythmic. And the Screebers will start to kind of imitate the kobold version of a marching phalanx. But they also have, like, scouts, bugbears. They do a lot with bugbears. Yeah. Sometimes they have goblin slaves, but who wants to hang out with a filthy goblin? Ugh. Unacceptable.
Thank you, you've been very, very helpful. She's going to ignore the fact that she should probably ask him, hey, is this a dragon egg? And she's just going to continue of bigger things at stake right now. So, our Tracken friends, Sarak, and I feel like Clever Stitch also, can you do anything at all with that information? And Saride, sorry, yes, Meg.
I think this is a Megan question. It can be a Saride question if necessary. Do we know if the revolution died?
So what I will tell you is this: I've had to update that chapter since. I'm going to peel back the curtain for a moment. So if you guys have you read the fictions that I started talking about the March of Glaives, and I have updated. I do have chapter 3 up. I've removed any mention of the revolution because of real world political things, both presented in a positive and negative light, and those are not. I find it important to support good public change, but I think taking that term and mislabeling it and misusing it, or presenting well-intended social change in a negative light is not something I want to do. So the aspect of the hobgoblins that ruled over them completely is known as the tyranny. So that.
Do we know if the tyranny is dead?
You would know. Historically, the tyranny was defeated. well, it was defeated and cast out of Hobgoblin society. The tyranny lost the confidence of the Hobgoblin people and could no longer hold sway over them. So, but the tyranny, much like many of the avatars in Lick Droct, doesn't really die. It just sort of changes and moves on. So the current whereabouts of the tyranny or what it has become are unknown, but you do know that it no longer resides in and among the Hobgoblins.
Okay.
Nor does its replacement. Like it is gone from that society. So whatever the Hobgoblins are doing, it is you would suspect much more Hobgoblin than Avatar influenced.
Okay.
Well, as much as I don't like the idea of avoiding our big problems for long, I also don't like the idea of the people we were supposed to be protecting bleeding out on the streets. And if someone else saves Wyatt before we get to, he's never going to let us live it down. Bless you.
I agree.
So, do we want to, what's the best way to figure, like, directionality, I guess?
Honestly, I'd see if we can find a way to triangulate. You're right, they may have reached the tower, but they may be stuck on a path. If we can kind of find a way to follow them.
My first idea would be head just northwest and then see if we can see something, if we can find any sort of, if we see any burning in the distance, we go to it. If we find massive hobgoblin army tracks, we follow them if we find any bugbears. But I think for now, the best we can do is just head to the northwest. I think, at least.
You're probably right, actually.
Makes the most sense.
Okay. So you guys would like to take a turn heading towards the northern tower or directly northern tower? Yes, not directly north, not northeast, to the northwest. Okay. Absolutely. You begin that trek as you guys shift your focus for the day. As you guys are traveling, is there anything else you are attempting to do in this regards? I know that you're looking for tracks. I know you're looking for signs, but I don't know if you guys are making any other magical overtures or, casting spells of divination or anything along those lines. And I don't want you to, I don't want to roll and get like a week into it and then you're like, oh, I could have been doing this. So
Is Raven still with us? Or did she go with the other group?
Raven was with you guys at 4 Point Farms.
Yeah. She was there, and I know she was there when we came out of the weird with
She stayed
the weird
behind.
lab. And
the other party had moved ahead a few days before you guys. So she is with you.
do we think she's powerful enough to scry?
You are unsure. Scrying is a 5th level spell.
Yeah.
Immediately off the top of your head, you don't suspect so. But she may. I don't know if you want to talk to her. You're still welcome to.
I would just like to ask her if by chance she knows how to, because I don't think any of us do, and I wanted to, just in case one of our NPCs was high enough caster to find them easier. That's all I wanted to ask, but if not.
I can do divination, but I can't do it today. It would have to wait until tomorrow, but it's an option. I can ask Branos to prepare the spell for me for when I take a long rest. That's something.
When you ask Raven, sorry. No. Why?
Because we're worried about finding some people. It looks like some of our other party have perhaps gone astray, and we'd like to find them before... Listen, I'm not subtle by nature. Before they die... I don't know why I'm trying to beat around the bush. We'd like to find them before they bleed out somewhere, and something made us think that they might be.
What was that?
A send-in conversation with one of them. Oh my god, I love her so much.
Sorry, I heard the big ding. Was that?
Hey, because we got a follower! So it popped. I'm sorry, there's alert noises now.
Yeah, that's okay. Alert noises.
Thanks.
That's fine. I'm learning. Congratulations.
I thought you were
Welcome
in
back.
character as Raven, being like, "What?"
Sorry.
Very.
That's when you find out Raven has a secret crush on Wyatt this entire time.
Oh. With who?
Like, who was our conversation with?
Yeah.
The rest of the people who went ahead of us. They kind of... It was Wyatt. Listen, I would usually think perhaps he was pranking us, but he said please, and he doesn't seem the kind to do that, so...
No. Just Wyatt?
We can only call one person at a time.
Well... Did you talk to Rivets?
I would like to echo Megan's voice. Who the fuck is Rivets?
Oh. He's my classmate.
He didn't get a chance to meet everybody. Everyone is very focused on their scholarly pursuits and he didn't want to interrupt, so I didn't get a chance to meet everybody. But we only talked to Wyatt. He seemed to have been badly hurt, and we'd like to get there before anything. So if you know how to if you don't, that's fine, but we should probably get going and track everyone down.
I mean,
kind of...
no, I don't. Can you call anyone else?
I don't know. I don't know how many slots you have of that a day, Carlos.
3 level and 2 4 level.
We may be able to, but you have to talk to Thousand about that. It's not really a spell that I do or know how to do.
Oh, am I there?
If you want to be.
Okay. I would need to know the person at least. I would need to be familiar with the person. That's the only downside of the spell.
Oh. Well, did you ever meet anyone else in the caravan?
You knew some of the wildlings, right? Some of the wildling, yes?
Yes. I
The
remember
big
speaking
chief.
to some of them.
Yes. He's got his notes.
I mean, we were traveling together for weeks. The likelihood of you at least running into someone in the lunch line.
Well, not only that, but like, weren't they talking about the Forge, which I would be very interested and intrigued about?
I
Yep.
find all of these things to be reasonable.
Yeah.
To be fair, the DM does. Raven's not super big on meeting people, so it's a viable question for her.
I'm assuming Rivets is her social buddy.
Yeah, now that you think about it, you think he's another. She's an artificer. He is an artificer classmate as well. You don't know that they're necessarily friends, but it's probably the closest Raven comes, and you suspect that they probably shared the same tour bus bunk version in the like it's a friendship of because he's my neighbor, so
It's
a friendship of convenience for her.
in some ways. I mean, she doesn't tend to go tremendously out of her way to make new friends. She doesn't seem very much like that person.
That's valid.
Oh.
Yeah, I realized that's why the dragon wasn't doing the thing. He was not all the way at the top, and so he was behind our cameras. So his words were popping up, but they were being hidden, and I wanted people to feel welcomed.
Yes. Why
So
is
if you just
he?
drag him to the top of the list, so he's the very top thing.
Ah, I understand.
You can unlock him
now.
to move him and just pull him to the very, very
Yes.
top of the whole list
Got him.
of sources.
Yeah.
Great.
There
So
it
now
is.
when new people follow or sub or bit or whatever, it'll pop up their little thing. The dragon, who doesn't have a name yet, is there. He's learning how to do things. Theoretically, he's going to be able to attack and dance and talk later, but it seems to be
Oh.
taking him a while to learn those skills.
Okay. Well, we just gotta
Like
train
any
him.
new pet.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
we'll train him. Yeah, it's okay.
We'll roast
I
him.
yeah.
apologize for blocking him with my beautiful face.
It is.
So yes, he is at the top of the list now. So hopefully it will work. Cool. Thank you, Pet. So Thozen, you can attempt. Do you guys, if you guys remember the name of the leader of the wildlings, you can try that one. If you have that written down, otherwise I will let you devise the name of a student that you know is on this trip that that you could try sending to.
Skull cleaver, skull something, splitter. It's in that vein.
Something like that. I don't
And
have
it's like
it written down.
It's like an Orn.
Orn skull hammer. I don't know. It feels
Like-
right, but
I feel like there's an Orn vowel in there.
I'm trying to remember.
I don't know. How about we contact Chad, the other wildling?
Chad?
Chad,
Nailed it!
If you name him Chad, he's a student. I refuse to
Oh,
accept.
absolutely.
Yeah, obviously.
Absolutely. He's just
Wildlings
a strong,
named Chad.
strong man.
Hold on, I see my other notes, and I'm afraid that they're in my other notes, but they're like across the room. I'll be right back.
Okay. All
He
right.
flees. In the meantime, yes, thank you, welcome Winterheart. That is why we did the fix the thing. We realized that the shout out didn't pop up. We can't always like stop the stream to shout out everyone manually, so we got a dragon to do it for us.
Yeah, we're
But the
happy to
dragon-
have you here. Thank
We
you.
are, but the dragon was slightly buried, so we fixed it. I hope.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope so too. Okay.
What? Okay. What is needed for locate object?
I believe you have to be within a
familiar. Oh, sorry.
Notes. Notes.
What's the distance on it?
1,000 feet.
I believe we would love to send a message to Grat the Skull Cleaver.
If we did experience points, this is the time when Eric would have gotten extra.
Where
Well
the
done.
fuck did Orn?
Inspiration.
Where the fuck did what come from?
Orn.
I don't know. I was right there with you. I was feeling it. I was like, I don't know if that's a thing, but I like it. It's good. Ship it, pack it, Orn. That's it.
Okay. Well, you can message Grat or you can message Chad. I'm not gonna fight it.
Amazing.
Grat.
I'm gonna go with Grat and say, "Hello, Grat. This is Thozen. Wyatt's message was unclear. Can you specify further? What is your exact location, and what dangers are you facing?"
Bye.
Reply.
Roll me a d20.
Eight.
Okay.
Can I inspire him?
We're past that point.
So
Oh,
I
for
still
fuck's sake,
have.
what is that in my head? Oh, damn damned wizards. Oh. Yeah, the orc. Okay. I'm in the mountains. Wyatt. Oh, wow. He's alive? Didn't think he'd survive that long. We passed the...
Good. So, by this, I can deduct, I'm saying this out loud, that they are no longer traveling together. He is surprised to hear that Wyatt is alive after he spent 15 words freaking the hell out that was inside his head. So I should probably be more specific the next time I call. He's in the mountains, and then the message got cut off. And I think I lost a ride. You look beautiful, my dear.
There we go.
She's like... Megan's curious. What level is locate object?
3, 2, 3.
Are we betting? 3.
Locate object is a second level spell.
Thank you, second level.
I don't want to ask. I don't want to ask him to burn through everything. That being said, Vanon, could you try? Could you see if you could find the chess set? I know it's probably too far away, but just.
Well, this is something that I can do as well. Again, I can't do it today, but I'll have the spell prepared for you if you'd like, the closer we get.
It's maybe, I don't, oh god. I'm panicking. I'm gonna take another swear run. I'll be right back.
Okay, do you want me to come with you?
No, yes, but I think they need you to call or something. They probably need. I'm just gonna go sit in the wagon and put my head between my knees. I'll be right back.
Okay, call if you need me.
Fable's gonna wait a minute and then just carefully follow her to the wagon.
Are you attempting to cast sending with anyone else? You can.
I'm afraid to.
You can recast with the same people if you would like.
I can, but it's not the brightest crayon in the box. He smashed things and yeah.
Is there
I mean,
anything...
you could try reaching out to Rivets.
Do I know Rivets?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say you at least have met him. Artificers come by the forge fairly frequently, if nothing else than to acquire pieces.
Anything in particular we would like to say to Rivets? I'll definitely introduce myself so he doesn't freak the hell out, or she, or they.
I'm actually wondering if we even need to reach out to the caravan. Again, it sounded like the way that you said that he replied, it seemed like it was less, oh, these damned things that have caught me and are in my head, and more, magic is weird and scary. What is happening? But, so I'm wondering if it would be best if, I don't know how many of these spells you have today, but to try and reach out to Wyatt again.
Well, I can do it one more time at this level. I would have to spend more energy required than needed for this spell. I could do that twice more after that. But he had mentioned Hobgoblins, though. Like, I think that they were... jumped upon by goblins or hobgoblins, so I don't think it's magic,
so.
but they could be being held captive.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you can reach out to rivets, or at least try.
DM,
Yes.
when I cast sending the second time, did it feel the same way that it did the first time?
It did not.
So I didn't feel off about that time.
No. You felt the heat of the Forge of Branos sort of wash over you, as you often do. Crafting spells from Branos is much like crafting anything under his guise and guidance. So it is comforting. Usually, your spells, the sensory experience that you have, mirrors something that you go through in the Forge, right? And that one was, you were very comfortable and at home. The other one made it was very much like you were trying to light a forge with wet firewood or dampened coals. There was something fighting against it.
Okay. I am going to turn a stitch and tell him I think I'm going to reach out to Wyatt again just to test the theory.
All right.
As it was, he didn't know where he was, and he was unsure about everything that was stolen, but he knew about the chest. Is there anything else that we can try to get from him? Like, how many people is he traveling with? How many people survived?
Yeah.
How far away from the tower we probably were? Like,
Yeah. DM, really quick, can
Yes.
I? Because Tabaxi in this area were nomadic and traveled around a lot and didn't sort of settle in, or at least the group that Clever Stitch came from.
Mm-hmm.
And because he is vaguely magically inclined, not in a spellcasting way, but just kind of in a connected to the flow of magic in nature and the world itself and channeling that.
Yeah.
Can I do a Arcana or a history or a something check to see if I've heard of any like lore or any rumors of anything in the area that's like magic dampening? Like if the Fortress of the Abyss is magic dampening,
Sure.
if there's just this area where we were told no, you do not go there because things don't come out, that
Okay.
isn't necessarily marked on the map. Like that sort of thing is what I'm going for.
Absolutely.
you're just
yeah.
a little far from a 5G tower. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Like, does he need to get closer to the Warden Tower, and then his signal's just fine?
Right. I got you. I will take either. If you are interested in magics or magical sources that could dampen other magic, or if you are interested in historical stories or areas, places, actual locations. The second one would be history. The former would be Arcana. I will accept either.
I think so. I'm not trained in history.
Okay. But you made
So
a
if I
good
can
case. You made a good case for your
Okay.
Tabaxi heritage to play into that. Since you are not trained, I don't want to treat it as though it's strange. I'll give you advantage on that if you would like.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
But that will be presented to you through the lens of your Tabaxi heritage.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Because I think that is more what he's trying to think of, not
Okay.
necessarily what sort of magic can dampen spells.
Right.
More like what areas are scary to go to because of magic.
I'm imagining there's like in Heroes of Might and Magic, the old computer game, there were like some areas that no spells worked. They were just dead areas, and other spells where your spells are twice as effective. Like it's just the land. Sorry.
Exactly, that sort of shit. So I rolled an 11 and a 17, so a 19
19.
with
Okay.
advantage.
Sure. in this area, I'm gonna focus on the map that you guys are on. Absolutely. A few areas stand out as places that were avoided for different reasons. They sort of hit in the area, right? The ruins of Baklif are magic is wild there, and it is a place where magic would, the way that Tabaxi would put it, might rebel against its caster, right? Was sort of the phrase that you would know there. To travel to the Fortress of the Abyss is to tempt the nothing, to open the door that holds blackness at bay. The mesas in the south west are an empty world where little life exists. Sand, reptile. But it is what stands out to you. The dangers of the northern forest. Trees we would not climb. They bend to military will. They march in the steps of their masters, hasten their legion, and trip those who might seek to traverse them.
Cool. Tight. Hate that. Okay, got it. Cool.
You,
Lit.
Piecing that together, I don't mind telling you, you suspect the ruins of Baklif would make the magic almost stronger.
Yep.
And things like that. The southwest might be, if it was anywhere in the right vicinity, might be worth checking out, but it's not.
But because it's so far away.
Yeah. Other than that, you're sort of, it's either the Fortress of the Abyss or those northern forests, and
Yep.
both could have a magic dampening effect based on your stories. It is the forest. I will say that forest west of the Blood Gulch River is something your tribes and any of the tribes that they did business with did not dare to go to, specifically because of the hobgoblin threat and rumors that the land itself would sort of bend to the hobgoblin's will.
All right. Then he will sort of relay that as we're kind of talking about sending. There are a lot of stories that we are told as young Tabaxi, and of this area. If I'm trying to think of where Wyatt could be, if he's with the hobgoblins and captured with them, he's in the North Forest. But that's as much as I know about that area, except that the hobgoblins are strong enough to shape the will of the forest itself to their whims. Other than that, the Fortress of the Abyss, although we were always told about the darkness that was being held there, and that's why you don't go there, is because there's darkness that would be unleashed, and I don't know if that's what Wyatt was talking about. But if you reached out to him, I think that would be my indication as to how to ask him where he is if he's surrounded by this giant crater, and therefore in the fortress, or if he's surrounded by some semblance of trees, even if they're not actually trees anymore.
Okay. That actually says a lot to go on. Here we go again. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna go ahead and cast Sending to Wyatt again.
Okay.
And do I get the same sensation again?
Roll me a percentile.
We need to get him a call center headset.
Hello, this is
99.
Oh!
99.
I will say you do, but now that you are in this moment prepared for it and having experienced it, you feel it briefly, but then you push through it with enough force that it doesn't leave that sort of ringing, slightly nauseated feel in your stomach. But yes, it was still there initially. You're just
okay.
You awesomed your way through it.
Oof. Thank God. I'm gonna say Wyatt, it's Thousand again. Be more specific about your surroundings. Are you in the middle of crater? Are you in a forest? Ruins? You need to give us more information about.
You need, and it ends.
Hey, I try my best.
Unless I just counted so wrong.
No.
Oh no,
but
that sounds about right.
You were in the ballpark because I was coming right up on it too. So
I tried not to do it too fast so that you're able
thank
to.
you. Yeah, because it's.
I just lost count at about 8 and went, fuck, what number am I on? What word was that 8 on? Oh fuck, I gotta start over.
While Cody is counting out his numbered reply, Fable has carefully followed Sir Ride over to the wagon, and she puts just a little bit of ice around her hands and just presses it gently to the back of her neck. It's like a soothing. You've seen that look before. Not on you, though.
The minute you touch her neck, she freaks out. And
Sorry.
No, fine. I'm fine. I'm sorry. I'm fine. Fine.
Listen, I expect this kind of face on first time performance taking the stage or the tightrope for the first time, but you've never seen you this uncomfortable by something.
We were supposed to watch him. The whole reason we're out here is because they hired us to watch them. And now he's somewhere and he's hurt, and I don't know who else is too. And that damn chassette's gone. And I still have a game. And whoever has it isn't going to understand that. And they're not going to know. And I'm bound to that fucking thing until I can get my hands back on it and we can finish it.
Actually, I like very much to be comforting about the Wyatt thing, but you raise a good point. You're bound to it. I know we don't quite know who's playing on the other end, but we might be able to use that. I've never been the religious type. I don't pray to things. I don't ask for other things, but maybe you could reach out. Maybe someone could reach out on your behalf. It's either way, I think if you're bound to it, it's not going to let anybody else fuck around with it for a while. And if Wyatt is the one who is carrying it, and they might come back for him to make sure that, rather than just leaving him alone in the woods. But anyway, that's a sort of separate magical issue that my brain just got curious about. However, thank you for the dance, Cody. He had exactly 25 words, I can tell. However, I get wanting to be, I had people I was supposed to take care of before. And I didn't. And I couldn't. And sometimes you can't. At the end of the day, they let us split up. We all had things that needed doing, and our entire purpose wasn't just to protect him. Wyatt's made it very clear that he can kind of take care of himself. He didn't want us in the first place. But us leaving, wouldn't have stopped anything. As a matter of fact, us leaving might have meant there was someone to come rescue him. If we'd stayed, we might have gotten ambushed just the same. But right now, they don't know anyone's coming to help him. This might have given us the best shot of being a rescue party instead of just another set of victims.
You're right. You're right.
I don't like it any more than you do. I don't have a particular fondness for him or any kind of connection, but at the same time, there's something to be said for feeling like you've walked away from an obligation and trying to remember that life's more complicated than that. That's not a good feeling, but...
I've made mistakes. I made mistakes with Wyatt. And some of the last things I ever said to him were not terribly pleasant. I've made mistakes with Talroth. And I'm trying to fix it now. I don't know what I thought was going to happen when you wrote to me and told me there was work here. I don't know what I thought it was going to be, but I don't think it was going to be this. I don't know that I'm cut out to be the cavalry that comes in and saves people.
It's just another story, Sir Aid.
I don't tell stories, Fable.
You do with your song. Every single time you play music, I hear it, I feel it. You don't have to have words, you don't have to have a tale. It's still something amazing. And if I'm being quite honest, and she kind of scooches away a little bit, like she's uncomfortable with herself and worried, she starts having a little bit of sparks of fire kind of running up and down that she's trying to rein in. I don't think I quite understood what we were getting into, and I invited you here either. And I'm sorry for that. But it's the same as Sirach. I didn't grow up alone. I grew up surrounded by a lot of people, and I suddenly found myself quite isolated and without the ability to call out to any of them. So I may have dragged you here entirely selfishly, and I'm really sorry for that. Because it's not the kind of work any of us are expecting, and it's not the kind of work a circus girl like me is cut out for. I'm trying to pretend I'm one of the heroes in those stories, like I pretend to be in the rings. It's very different when it's real, but I didn't mean to drag you into anything this dangerous. I just didn't want to be alone. Again, for any more than I had to be.
Well, you're not alone now. And you might never be alone again, quite frankly.
And you're plenty brave, even if you don't feel like a cavalry. You don't have to be a knight to be a hero. And I've watched you be a hero a lot.
I want to be worthy of him, Fable.
You are. You are. Doesn't take a genius to figure that out. And I'm not.
You stopped that now, you're plenty smart. Thank you for talking. Have they heard anything else?
Fable turns around, kind of trying to gauge lip reading and basic, like she knows, and just goes, "Don't think so. But, you know, if it had been something terrible, I'm sure we would have had a shriek of panic from Sirach. He's very piercing when he wants to be. I think he would have called us back if there was an urgent anything that we'd missed. But
that's a good point, and I can still see Screebers, so...
He hasn't taken off and started throwing pies yet, so we're probably fine for the moment. But anyway, She kind of reaches into the side pouch she's been keeping the egg and just cuddles it for a minute and goes, "Yeah, I used dragging myself into trouble just because I don't want to be alone. This, like bringing you here, coming out in general, but we can still go see him."
We can. Also, about the egg, if worst comes to worst, and
And it's a man-eating dragon.
right, or a dinosaur or something else that's going to bitey chomp chomp. How adverse are you to getting like a pet rat or something?
You know how I grew up. You saw how I grew up. Any pet that's not a wild, strange, miraculous thing you can do tricks with is not really a pet at all. It's dinner. So, we'll see how this one shakes out, and, trust me, I'm not going to put any of you in danger for it.
I know. I hate to think of you without a little buddy. So, I'm going to keep my eyes peeled.
Listen, maybe I can get a key bird that turns inside out. Like the creepy professor.
Don't do that to Sirach.
I will get a frog then. I will get something.
Yards away, Sirach's feathers just puff up, and he doesn't know why. Just...
He molts a little bit.
She just glances over to wherever Olaroon is, goes, hey, at least the worst, it's not going to be a talking fucking sword.
You're goddamn right it is. So help me. You bring one of those home, I'm kicking you out of the caravan myself.
I wouldn't blame you. Can you imagine the kind of sword that would be calling me? It would be a disaster. It would be a just nightmare. I want to meet it, but I don't want to take it.
Elvish. She's just going off about this fucking sword. And she links arms with Fable and we'll take her out of the caravan, out of the wagon.
Okay.
Cody is very excited about his message. Let's go.
No, I realized I'm the only one that hears the alerts. You guys don't hear them when things happen. But that's fine. I don't mind being the guy that dances when people sub and things like that.
That's what was happening.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can see it on here, but yeah, I can't hear it. That explains it. I will sub dance.
It like very much sort of, and I'm like, oh, I know what that. I now know what that means. I think I do. I don't. So those.
Some of them are follow, some of them are subs, some of them are like.
They're all good things.
They're all good
yeah,
things.
it's exactly. They all deserve a dance. So, you see, the last thing you said was you need, and so to which he replies, help. Attacked 16 days past Narvocht. Hobgoblins led by pale killers. 2 wagons lost. Don't know location. Awoke in dark cage. Tortured. Asked your group.
That was so fast.
I can say it again.
Please.
Absolutely. Help. Attacked 16 days past Narvocht. Hobgoblins led by pale killers. 2 wagons lost. Don't know location. Awoke in dark cage. Tortured. Asked your group.
I put it in our chat for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will repeat to Sirach and Stitch. Apparently, he was 16 days past Narvocht. There's hobgoblins that were led by pale killers. They lost 2 wagons, but they don't know their location. They walk in a dark cave. They've been tortured, and then he just told me to ask the group.
Cage. Dark cage.
Oh, dark cage. Sorry,
Nope, just that's okay. Just I'm making sure I said it correct.
Dark cage.
16 days could be either. He could be in the forest or in the fortress.
What about 16 days past Narvocht towards the tower?
So if we know that they were
somewhere
going
between?
towards the tower, and if we know they were going towards the North Tower and they never made it, we can assume that 16 days past Narvocht would probably have put him just a little bit above,
Just
a few
somewhere
days
north
above the Fortress of the
fortress.
Abyss, about
Yes.
slightly northwest. And so, I mean, our best bet is to think he's probably in that forest somewhere right now.
It could explain why, once again, there was interference somehow there was a push that I had to push past in order to send him another message, that I did not have that same push when I was talking to Grot,
Skull Cleaver.
Orn.
Orn's his brother.
His twin brother. His twin
evil
brother.
twin.
Yeah, because I don't want to say all wildlings look the same.
No. If they're twins, Grot's the one with like the big beard and he's got all the wild hair, and Orn's the dude that like shaves everything and is super tatted up just so he can be different, just so they can be different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Get a personality, Orn. My God.
His
One just
tattoos are
shaves
his personality.
One just shaves the sides, the other one just shaves the middle.
They're actually just two halves
Just
to the
the
exact
middle.
same.
He leaves the rest of it. And
Inverted mohawk.
Yeah, he elects for an inverted mohawk. What the fuck? That man is scary, and I don't want to ever meet him.
My next D&D character.
Orn is the special boy in the wildlings. Just like, I fight now. You do,
I just
Orn.
put-
Good
You
job.
sure
buddy.
do, Orn.
But there was a GIF I already had ready for that. It was prepared, it's there, and it's accurate.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm not wrong.
But yeah, I think that 16 days would put him just north of the fortress. If they were going straight line from Narvokt to the tower, they would have to go directly in between the two, skirting maybe a little bit closer to the forest if they would. Because if I was them, I would try and skirt the fortress as much as possible. Because it's named the Fortress of the Abyss, and their protectors have left them. So they're not idiots, mostly. So I would think that they would go towards the forest a little bit. So that would be my indication too, just like you said, Sirach.
It's better option than I think any of us can think of right now, right?
Yeah.
I think at this point we might want to head not even northwest. We might just want to go
Just
straight north.
Yeah, I think so too.
Straight to the fortress.
Cut off as many
Straight
days
past
travel as we
the
can.
fortress.
Well, yeah, past the fortress, but right up there. And I think if we don't run into them, we might run into signs of them.
Exactly.
So to get north of the fortress, you guys actually need to travel northeast.
Yeah.
Or north,
do we
slightly
want-
east of it. You are past it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I make eye contact with Fable, by the way, I'm just gonna kind of like wave her down, just kind of be like, whenever you're ready.
Sure. Yeah, you do catch her attention.
I pick up the Saride pace a little. We're going. Remember how you asked if they found anything? They might have.
As you guys are moving towards Thozen, you're going to see Sirach running the other way towards the wagon going, "Wheels up in 10!" And he's going to get the wagon ready.
Clever Stitch will go and help him. And help pack people up.
Okay.
What did you find?
So they were attacked just 16 days out of Narvokt. I think we are going to go ahead and go past the Fortress of the Abyss. We kind of have a general idea where they could be. So it's going to take us a little bit to get there. But, yeah.
And they were attacked by the Hobgoblins.
Correct, but the Hobgoblins were being led by a pale killer, is what Wyatt had mentioned. They lost 2 of the wagons, and they awoke in a dark cave after being tortured.
Cage. Can I make
Cage.
the cage, damn it. Can I make a check to see if that sounds like the bounty hunters that were chasing treasure?
Yeah, go ahead. Make me a roll me intelligence or wisdom.
For a second, she looked like she froze.
She just panicked and didn't want to answer. Oh no, my internet.
What? Huh? Roll something? Oh, okay. 11.
That's fine. Yeah, it does. It does remind you of the Pale Assassins, of the Pale Brotherhood. that is that was hired to track down treasure. And part of that, is that from the information she had gathered, there were many people looking for her all up and down the Blood Gulch River. Do you suspect that they were probably in both cities? And while one group found the actual you guys, do you suspect this would have happened a while back? You can estimate. Hold on one second. I'm gonna stamp something for my own needs right there. Good. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So, roll me an intelligence check. If you guys want to help, I'm assuming. You can all, not everybody, but the person with the highest intelligence, make it with advantage. And I'll let you guys discuss that.
What are everyone's? My base intelligence is 15. So +2 is...
Yeah, mine is 14.
Okay. Me, you, and Saride. We've got one of us roll it with advantage.
Not me.
I'll do it, because then Meg can inspire. And she can't inspire herself, yeah?
Yeah.
Does that work? Okay with that, Meg?
Yep. I was trying to figure out how I'm inspiring you. She just starts singing or speaking the opener to the Johnny Cash, and I saw a pale rider, whatever the fuck that song.
She just quietly mutters, "And you tell me you can't tell stories."
But she does in a Johnny Cash voice.
It's like he's here. I'm gonna use luck because this feels important. Glad I did. Okay, just a base intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Plus that inspire.
Or I'll take if you are trained in survival, you can add that onto it.
I am not.
Okay, that's fine.
19.
19. Okay.
Yes.
I don't like it.
No.
You do some math and some estimation. You suspect the attack on the caravan happened about 18 days ago.
That's why he said, I can't believe he would have been alive this long. However, Wyatt is managing to survive. He is probably isolated, was maybe not taken with the rest of their company, and is just slowly dying.
Well, he's also being tortured.
In a cage.
In a cage. They're keeping him.
Actually, maybe like 21 days ago, but it's close.
Well,
just for reference, that puts it about the time you guys left Loden Sravekt. So just before your own run-in with the Pale brothers.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it also makes sense why he said that the caravan probably made it to the tower by now. And that Grat said that these damn mountains. Because the 16 days is just a tiny bit under halfway over to the tower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
it you take into account all those clues, all those little pieces that you guys have gathered up, and you can kind of estimate roundabout when this happened and about what you guys were up to at the time.
Well,
is there any town or way we can stop that will get us there faster? Why don't we have the wagon full of drugs? Why don't we have a carpet? Why don't we have faster horses? Like, is there somewhere between here and there where we can buy a car?
Between here and there, not that you know of. The only thing you guys could do, if you have 3 wagons. There is 8 of you. Cole has his own steed, and Sirach can fly. If you abandoned the wagons and took the horses, you would have to have the other party members, namely Raven and Screevers. I don't think anybody else. You don't have anybody else with you, do you? No. They would have to. The closest place they could get to safely is the northern tier of Shaylaren. They would have to make that trek on their own.
Could they go to the Centaurs?
It's further away.
Oh, it is? Okay.
It is, yeah.
Damn.
It is further away. I will go ahead and I'm going to do the share screen thing here. I know it's not really my favorite, but it does let us have a shared.
Can you just drag it? Can you just drag it and replace it with your camera in OBS? Nope, never mind.
I can't because it's
The OBS virtual cam. I just remembered.
Yep. So, but what I can do is this. I can do this fun screen share sort of thing here. So this is where you guys went. This is the Centaurs, the Centaur Map. Yeah. This is the Fortress Diabolic. This is where you guys are. This right here is where you estimate somewhere in this range is where you estimate the attack happened, right? So your friends would need to travel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days on their own. And you would be abandoning your wagons to travel faster. And your horses may tire, wear out, die in the road. You know, it's up to you. I'm also trying to just give you an update on the visual, right? So I'm gonna take this away now. I'll save, export it, and send it into the Discord. So does that help at all? I hope it did. And I tell you what, let's do. While I'm doing that, it's 9:15. Let's take a 15-minute break, okay? We're going to come back at 9:30. That'll also give the players a chance to regroup. I know that this was not what they had planned for the evening, but
that's okay.
But they've discovered some very interesting things. So we are going to take a brief break. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We might go ahead and throw a commercial up just so that people that come in afterwards don't have to watch entry commercials.
And because it helps the stream for free. You guys don't have to pay anything, and it helps us get a little bit of a kickback there, which struggling artists help.
Yep, we appreciate that. You guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging out. We're going to see you in 15 minutes, 9:30. We will be back live. But until then, stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. We are Random Encounter Productions. I'm Cody Stone. With me tonight, we have
Matthew, and I am playing Clever Stitch, the Tabaxi Arcane Archer.
Caitlin.
Caitlin was excited that the dragon worked.
Yeah.
Caitlin, I'm playing Fable Frost, the Ace Genasi Phoenix Soul Sorcerer.
Megan, I'm playing Saride Landir, the Eladrin Glamour Bard.
I'm Eric, and I'm playing Sirach, the Arakaka Horizon Walker Ranger.
And I'm Carlos. I'm playing Thousand Fahrenheit, the half-orc tiefling forge cleric.
Awesome. We do have 2 more quick announcements before we get back to the action. Take it away, Matthew.
Once again, I'm just gonna kind of talk about our amazing sponsor, Norse Foundry. Woo!
Yay!
Norse Foundry is here for all of your dice needs, whether it be aluminum, precision dice, regular acrylic dice, gemstone dice. dice holders, dice boxes, giant dice, tiny dice, anything dice and Dungeons and Dragon related, they got it. You need it, they got it. That's the order I meant to do that in. And because they are wonderful partners and we are being sponsored by them, we have a 15% off code for any of your purchases, which, especially if you're buying some high quality dice, can mean a decent chunk of change. So if you use REP RPG, that's REP RPG, at checkout, you'll be able to get a 15% discount. On our stream, there's a little sidebar with all of that information. If you just got so excited that you stopped listening to me and went straight to NorseFoundry.com to be able to find yourself some dice. So go get some.
Amazing. And I, speaking of shopping, have decided on the fly today to celebrate, A, that we have new product photos of all of our pins, thanks to the wonderful Crafty Gamer. Also, 2, because I didn't realize today was our exact 1-year anniversary, and I feel like 2020 was such a chaos year that, like, I didn't stop to, because I'm a monster. So as an apology, we're having a flash sale on pins, everybody, and now they are 20% off for a limited time. Just using the code NATURAL20, all caps, NATURAL20 for 20% off dem pins. So head on over there and get you some shopping done, because it's good.
Wait, at
How long
what
is it
point do
still
we
gonna be up
flash?
for?
You can flash whenever you like, and the sale is, yep, exactly.
How long is the sale up for?
I'm not telling anybody. That's the flash part.
But I'm in game. I can't get the pins now.
So it'll be there, but it'll be there after the game is over. It's okay. It'll
Let's
also,
do.
it's okay.
Go quick.
So I just spontaneously combust. Bye, guys. Okay.
Oh no.
Oh
All
no,
right.
her
It will still be
internet.
up tomorrow.
Oh
It's okay.
no.
Okay.
Our internet.
You at least have till tomorrow, I believe, is what I just heard.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I just needed it for like a couple more hours. That's it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right, guys, let's get back into it. So when we left you guys, you're a couple of days past the Fortress Diabolic. And you had attempted to reach out to your original caravan mates, your primary point of contact being Wyatt. And you discovered through sending, he has been captured and separated from the rest of the group. You have learned that a couple of wagons have been lost. Some of the other members have already made it into the mountains, past the warden's tower. Their exact location is currently unknown, but they are in a much better place than Wyatt is. He has been tortured. You are 90% sure by the Pale Brotherhood. Pale Killers is what he called them. You guys recognize them as an organization of near white-skinned assassins and hunters and bounty hunters in search of one of your party members' treasure. And so you did some math, you asked a few more questions, made some rolls, you've calculated what you believe to be the approximate area that the assault took place, that he was abducted, and you suspect him to be in the northern forest in or to the west of Volskov Ulit. And currently you guys were making decisions as to where to go, or if there was a way to go faster, or anything along those lines. So I'll let you guys take it away.
So we need to get going up north. So we're headed up to the capital of the Hobgoblins, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know if anybody knows where their main base is, other than just in the forest, and that they can control it and make it weird and harder to exist in, and they can bend it to their will.
So I know that I'm pretty good in forests, and Recently, I think I've even become so good as to maybe have advantage if forests were magically used to make us lost or do us harm. You know, if I were to put specific words to it, I guess.
It sounds like
mean-
a solid gamble, honestly. You sound very convinced. I'm willing to take a chance.
And if there's anywhere that that's going to be the case, there is probably it. I know that we tossed around the idea of having Raven and Screebers go to the top tier of the ring, and leaving our wagons behind and rushing off on the horses and having Sirach fly. I don't think that's a good idea.
I agree.
Well, because we don't want to rush off and leave them behind and then have to come back and rescue them later too. I love them very dearly, but I don't think they're able to take care of themselves this long. So we either drop them off somewhere and wait, and then speed ahead after that. Can we split the difference? Can we ride them there, leave them, and then just rush and cut a couple of days off?
It's 5 days back to the towers, to the Shay.
Then no.
Once we get to wherever it is that they're keeping Wyatt, if they have any more survivors besides him, we're going to need wagons to transport them.
That's
We
fair.
can't just throw them on the back of a horse.
That's fair.
Exactly. And if horses are not, they are not incapable of falling to exhaustion. And if we rush them so hard that just one of them dies of exhaustion on the way up there, then we're fucked. Especially if we have to get Wyatt and or anybody else.
Well, I wonder if certain spells like Lesser Restoration or some form of divine ability that I have can restore some form of ability in them to prevent them from being exhausted so quickly. I don't know exactly which, but I mean, it never hurts. It says a creature.
May we buff the horses?
Hey,
You can taste on
Does-
every single horse.
Does Lesser Restoration remove exhaustion?
I think it's greater restoration now that I'm thinking about it, but
Unless
I
it
was
is
just
exhaustion.
trying to think of what is Meg's camera doing.
It's still fine on my end.
Looks good to me.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah, good on mine.
Just you.
And and it looks fine on stream. So
Yeah, that was just the Carlos thing.
I'm so
You're
mad
not-
that I recorded
You're
about
not
that.
star-crossed lovers, you're Wi-Fi crossed lovers. Just like...
Also, so they've had them for what, 18, 16 days?
They were captured 16 days outside of the city, or outside of wherever the hell that was.
You-
About 18 days now. I
18
think they might have had them.
18 to 21. Best estimate.
And they went after them because they thought they might have treasure. They know, like, we evaded them. There's a reason they're keeping them in cages and torturing them. They're going to be alive. They're going to be there. They're going to be keeping them there so that we can come and get them.
You're right. This is 100% a trap.
But
Oh, absolutely.
right, so the speed with which we get into said trap isn't really a point, I think.
Less important than going in prepared. You're
Well,
right.
I would agree.
I can always ask Wyatt 100% if there's any questions that they've been interrogated with. I mean, I can still do sending a couple more times. It just takes me more energy than it usually would.
We could do it once a day also. We've got a long journey ahead of us. You can call him different Ds. You don't have to call him all at once.
You're not wrong. We could do it like in the afternoon before we take some sleep.
We could check in with him every day or so, or a couple of days, and ask how he's doing, and ask if there's anything new, or let him know that we're coming, so he doesn't think that. I believe in the power of believing someone's coming for you. Just even if we don't tell him we're coming, just staying in contact, just so that he hears someone's voice other than just torture.
So
I don't
Yeah.
know Wyatt. Not well, and neither do any of us, I think. We don't know what his mental break would be under torture. If we give him information, they have the ability to take it out of him. anything that we give him can be used. I don't want him in there in darkness and alone and thinking that help isn't coming. But any advantage we can give ourselves going into Hobgoblin territory where we don't know anything, they have a home advantage, and we're vastly outnumbered. We've got to give ourselves a little bit of a fighting edge here.
You're not wrong.
I never am.
Yeah. Even if we just talk to him, if he's smart enough that he can probably infer that we're on our way, even if they torture him, he won't be able to tell them for sure when we'll get there, or even where we are now. But maybe check-ins just to let him know that and just to make sure that he's still alive every couple of days, maybe. But nothing past that.
Agreed. Every new check-in is a chance for him to give us a new piece of information.
All right, wheels up. Or do we have anything else we have to do before?
Thosen said, "Fuck you guys."
Thosen, come back. Oh, he's gone. All right, we got to follow him.
Thosen said, "Wheels up. I'm out. Let's go."
Thosen just looked and like, I am tired of talking, and then walked.
Wyatt is out there somewhere and he's hurt. We have to go now.
He can take care of himself.
Oh snap!
Save himself.
Yeah, let's wheels up. Let's get going.
Okay.
So are the carts okay?
You just see like a head pop up from one of the carts. Everything's good.
Okay. Hold on. Let's see if you guys... Are you attempting to travel at a faster pace than normal?
We'd like to have living horses at the end of it, I think. That's the whole point.
Yes.
But as fast as we can have it, as we can go, while still not murdering our horses.
That. Is there a fast at which we as players can roll for exhaustion but not necessarily get exhaustion? Or we can, like, have disadvantage on survival checks or something but not actually hurt ourselves? Like, what level of... So
the, according to the DMG, sort of the faster travel pace, is 4 miles an hour instead of 3. So you're doing 30 miles in a day as opposed to 24. You could probably press that a little faster because they are horses, but we would need to be making exhaustion checks for the horses. And I am not mistaken, yeah, if they get 2 levels of exhaustion, their speed is halved.
Then maybe we don't do that.
It's, I mean, you could probably do it for a day or every other day or something like that if you wanted to. Yeah. It's up to you. You do not have to. I know that those overland speeds are very much calculated on a 30-foot walking speed, but we're assuming the horses have a 30-foot walking speed because they're pulling the wagons behind them, right? So,
gotcha.
So that is the series of assumptions that have led us to this very mundane result.
That's all right.
I love. That's
So,
one
by
of
the
the
way,
things I love about D&D. You jump through a bunch of hoops
also,
to get
though,
back to the same math.
Also, though, they have done the math on this in depth on the rules and game mechanics. Horses pulling a cart are a speed of 40 feet instead of 30 feet walking point. So we can actually get a little faster. Yeah. Just by the way, because otherwise it would be the same just fucking walk. So yeah, they have a slightly faster speed still than us walking, but it's 40 feet per the player's handbook, page 157, and Monster Manual, page 321, apparently.
Perfect. Good to know.
I did research. I was like, I can help with this. And I did. So, there you go. 40 feet.
Yes. So I believe that's
If it's yes, it looks like multiple mounts pulling the same wagon. Only
400 feet a minute, so that is 30 miles a day.
Cool.
Yeah, so you're already sort of moving at the faster pace. I'm gonna say that you guys were traveling at a slower pace up until now, because that otherwise the maps are all fucked up. So we're going.
Got it.
We're going with that. Thank you for
That's fine. We now decide to just go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Thank
true. We
you.
didn't have to be that fast until now.
Yep. So that is going to give you guys.
And how many horses did we determine we have?
You have 6.
Oh shit. Okay, well that
Two-
changes that idea.
Two per wagon.
So no haste on all of the horses, Thousand.
I was thinking freedom of movement, but nope.
Only lasts for a minute, but yeah, freedom of movement does a little better. So doing that, every 4 days you get 1 day for free, so you can actually get there in, I think, 8 days instead of 10. Is essentially.
That's dope.
Better than nothing.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. You guys set out. Count these up. Yeah.
Now we just need a Muppets travel song.
We're not traveling by map. We're not just.
Do me a favor, everyone. Roll me a percentile.
I'm gonna keep using these Norse Foundry dice.
Nice. Matthew, start it up.
45.
95.
89.
18.
81.
All right.
Okay. Somebody would say 95.
I did.
Okay.
Don't be too excited. The last high roll got us the diabolic.
Oh no, I'm scared. It was my Christmas sparkly dice, and I genuinely thought it was a different number for a minute. I looked again, I was like, oh, this is either gonna help or hurt us in a big way, but it's fine.
I would like you to roll me a d12.
Me specifically?
Yeah, because
Oh god.
did anyone roll over a 95? Okay.
I'm so scared. Y'all, if I die, name the tiny dragon on our stream Fable.
You could do it. I believe in you.
3?
Okay. Sounds good.
Does it?
Only 3.
Look at that little smirk. Look at that little micro smirk. Fuck
Yeah,
you.
I know, I live with it. It's
Only-
terrifying.
It's only 3 rocks this time.
Instead of 12, it could have been 12 monsters. It's only 3.
Yeah.
You're
Or it's
welcome.
only 3 days until the Pale Riders are beset upon us.
Cody's going, all those are better than what it actually is.
Absolutely. That's often the case. Tip to the
But you
DMs
could
out
lie to
there.
us and we'll never know.
Just let your players ramble for a moment, and they'll give you something worth.
Yeah, let
worth
them
tossing out there.
nervously ramble,
Yep.
and they will give you terrible ideas that
Yep.
will screw them in a wonderful way.
Yeah.
3
It's-
competing BMWs with attached spas appear before us.
I once had a group where we were in a place and there were these giant statues and like, these statues are coming to life, they're going to attack us. These statues are coming to life, they're going to attack us. And then they did, and later on the DM's like, yeah, I had nothing. That was way better.
It was It was. I was just here, and then you guys were like, "Oh, that's really cool." Babel, roll me a d10, please.
For how many water fountains appear?
Black?
We won't know what they are, though, if our original dungeon is any indication. We'll just stare at this box and touch it for an hour.
It's a question of how many glasses of champagne we get with our spa day.
Yay!
How many bath
How many
bombs
hot
gets dropped?
stones they're gonna use?
8?
Ooh,
8. Okay.
8
So,
glasses of champagne, yay!
so this is going to take place in 8 days. So you're still 2 days from the location. You had rolled a 3, if I am not mistaken. Okay.
I'm sorry in advance, everyone.
It has been 8 hard days of travel. You guys have been pressing yourselves and your horses as best you can without damaging or hurting any of them. And as you're inching deeper into the latest days of autumn, the grasses are turned sort of brown, and the further you travel north, the bitter cold begins to nip at your nose, ears, fingers, everything.
Beaks.
At your beaks? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Fable's fine. The cold never bothered her anyway.
Okay, Elsa.
Yeah, duh.
You've settled in for the night, and you are doing your best to keep watches, but sitting out of the wagons is a bitter cold. It is difficult. It's the coldest night you guys have experienced yet, for sure. And there is little to nothing on these vast open plains to obscure the winds that rush along the just flatland in all directions. There are times you pass trees or rock outcroppings, these odd sort of mesas and little things as such. Who would be taking the first watch this evening?
Nope. I will volunteer to take the coldest watch, whatever that is, because I have no problem with that. So.
Cold is probably right before the dawn.
Great. I will wait.
Okay. So
I'll take first.
you take the first watch. Okay. Sounds good. Who's got my second?
Me.
Okay, and then 3 and 4. 4.
I'll take mine with Saride.
So you two, so Saride and, because Caitlin called 4, Saride and Thosen will take number 3.
Oh, yeah, because 4 would be right before dawn.
Yeah.
I thought that in my head. I was
the
like,
same way you did.
So 3, right? Yeah.
I did the same thing.
I also
Because fourth
thought
watch
the
is
same
dawn.
thing.
It's not.
You did the
yeah.
second to last watch instead of. Yeah, I got you.
Someone just hold my hand and walk me through this. My God.
I got
You're
you.
pretty.
So Rock. The night has fallen, and what little snows that you guys have encountered so far have been what's the best way to put them? Mild, at the very least. You haven't quite seen snow. You've seen a lot of frost, however. And as the wind sort of dies down for the moment and the fire begins to actually reassert itself, you're sort of feeling the warmth over your feathers for the first time in a very long time. And it gives you a bit of comfort. You cast your gaze across the lands to the north, and you see great sparks of lightning dancing through the sky. And the roll of thunder is distant, but slowly approaching. Your watch passes, and the storm creeps ever closer. In the second watch, Clever Stitch, you keep your eyes peeled towards the storm as well, occasionally moving about. Your armor is frostbitten, and you constantly check your arrows to make sure they haven't gone brittle or stuck, right? You peel your eyes to that storm, and something odd seems to dance through it. Something almost alive. As you watch, it's not what you see so much, but what you hear. In between the rolls of thunder come this sort of flapping of wings. Into the third watch, it grows all the closer as Saride and Thozen stare with wonder and awe at the approaching storm. You can hear the rain, almost hail-like, dense, heavy drops thumping into the ground. It's almost lulling, but punctuated by the sharp flashes of lightning and the chest-rattling bits of thunder. You had listened very closely to those wings. They don't sound like wings you might expect. There are no wings that are wings of leather or dragons. They remind you a bit of being near Sirach when he lifts off into the sky. Massive and heavy. There's a density to it. And just as you're switching out with Fable, you catch your first glimpse of something almost as big as, no, not as big, perhaps bigger than the rock. It's almost as though the clouds themselves live in a sort of thundering bird of tempest. You can see the lightning sort of trails along its wings, and it dances through the sky. The clouds gather about it to obscure it before it breaks through them again and comes back. The rains are beginning to reach your caravan now. They're turning somewhat to hail, but in the pleasant moment between the cracks and the flaps, there's flurries of snow that begin to coat the ground. And as you all wake up to watch this storm pass overhead, this force of nature that seems to care very little, if at all, you are beneath it. You witness something. You witness a bird, Thunderbird, a bird of a living storm. as it creeps from its heavy-rained summer dress into one that is crystalline and frost-laden. A bird of the blizzard. The snows it leaves behind, mixed with the rain that it drops, it's sort of a slushy, muddy, disgusting bit of ground. But to witness this force of nature carried by the very raw, very real seasons through your path is awe-inspiring, to say the least. I would like all of you to make Constitution saving throw.
And there it is.
Is this against cold damage?
Not against damage. It is specifically about cold exhaustion. I will give you advantage.
Thank you. That's what I was trying to look up my... Yeah, thank you.
I'll give it to you because you're resistant to cold.
So am I because I took the feat Infernal Constitution.
Smart.
Okay. Yeah. If you are resistant to cold, you have advantage on the saving throw.
Thank God.
A modified 20.
17.
9.
13.
19.
Okay. DC is 14. Soraya and Sirach, you guys take 1 point of exhaustion. You still have plenty of time to get rid of it before you make it to where you believe the caravan attack happened.
Leave it to my dumbass snuggled up next to my fucking radiator of a boyfriend to still fucking freeze to death in this particular moment.
It's the one moment you got up to, like, pee. Like, you went to use the latrine or get back dressed or something, you just finished, and so, like, you left the bedroll
I did not just get up. I'm not, like, squatting randomly like, ooh, look at the giant snowbird. That is not the image that is happening
I didn't mean that it was during. I meant that you were walking to or from the tent. I'm not a monster, but she froze real. Mm-hmm. She and a real block of ice. Poor Megan.
It was the ice bird.
It was the ice bird. It fucked her up.
The ice bird got her. Yeah, so I had actually rolled exactly a 95 as well.
What?
Jeez.
Yeah.
Magic.
Yep.
Also, can I
Welcome
roll
back.
Any kind of history, story, legend, magic, whatever check on this thing?
I'll take a history check.
Yeah. Thank you.
Take a history check.
Fable's in awe. She's in love. She wants to touch it. She's just fascinated and probably unaware that anyone else is freezing. She should. Oh. I had a dream like this once. I'm not going to roll well on my history, but I had a dream. 8.
I will say that you vaguely know that, Thunderbirds are sort of... There are legends of them. You don't really know where they're from or where did they go. Cotton Eye Joe had to, but they are creatures of legend. They often remind you of the sort of vast elementals, or they're tied to the elemental plane in very important ways. That's about as much as you got, unfortunately.
She will then. Sirach took a watch.
Everybody did, and then you guys all got together and watched the magic happen.
She's gonna run over to Sirach and just with joy and like ecstatic, childish joy. It's from the plains, or it knows how to get there. That's the closest to either of our homes that I've ever seen out here. Are you seeing this? Are you cold? Are you okay?
you look over as you're just like ecstatically pointing up, and you finally actually look at Sirach, and like he's just got like an icicle from the front of his beak, and he's like shivering.
Oh no! Flame hands. She just tries to near him like an outside space heater. But you were looking. I thought of you. Got excited. She's just like watching it go with like this awe of like, there's other big elemental things here that we don't understand, and look how pretty it is.
Like he's just in the same way. It is a creature that is, basically pure. It's elemental ice. It's elemental air. It's big, and it's all a mishmash of what you and I are. And so he's just there are no words. He's just kind of wondering how it got here, where it goes, and if it goes anywhere in between, and how it gets there.
Fable's wondering the same thing. I have a feeling over the next while, during any break, she'll kind of be doodling it on her paper. She will absolutely be talking to her egg baby about it. Do you think that's what you're gonna grow up to be? Are you gonna be like that thing? Or give me something else entirely? Look at this picture. Like, it's keeping Screebers from wanting to cook it. She's no, stay away.
I will let you know your egg baby will need to incubate someplace warm for a while before it can hatch.
I am totally fine with it not hatching in this random-ass dangerous place. This is fine with me.
Yeah, it's it's frozen, so
She is trying her best to keep it warm here, so it never like freezes so much that it dies.
Sure.
She's keeping it warm with body weight and body heat and everything, but I know it's not warm enough to like hatch, but like I also don't want it to die.
Yeah,
Take it to the forge. Take it to the forge.
I'm on board. I would like to. We gotta go save people first.
Okay.
I follow Thozen, and he's like on some grand quest, and I'm like, egg. Like a derpy idiot.
I throw the egg in the forge.
Take it to the forge. Take it to.
Okay.
I prefer them over easy, but
I don't like any of you. I was making all these great connections and character moments tonight. Fuck all of you.
I love this, man.
I feel attacked. I'm gonna name our tiny stream dragon Blitzwing. That's what we all thought it was, by the way, Cody.
Yeah.
All of us were sitting here panicking.
It's the third goddamn campaign that this bitch is gonna come in here and murderize us all.
She's our Flemeth. We should have gone back again and killed. She's gonna keep coming back until a bigger, badder god kills her for us. And then we'll be like, oh, whoops.
No Blitzwing. Yet. There you go. The night passes. You guys rest. You travel through the snow and the mud and the rain, and it is bitter and awful. But I would like you guys to make me survival checks.
Now that's a lot better. Oh wait, it's with disadvantage, isn't it?
No, you will have recovered by then. It's
Okay.
2 days later. You will have recovered by then.
Understood. Then
9.
Thank you.
16.
15.
24.
11.
Okay. It's difficult. The cold weather front has definitely moved through here. There's frost and things. You guys get to the area that you suspect is the area that they would have been attacked in, and you spend the better part of a day searching for tracks and things along that nature. But it is in the later hours of the afternoon, probably 3 or 4, nearing twilight is beginning, right? Or is soon to begin. I don't know how daylight works in the north.
It's weird. It's fine. This could easily be one of those months where it's just never, ever light.
Yeah, it's not quite that, but We're getting there. You guys do find some wreckage of what appears to be an area of battle and conflict. You begin to search around, each of you looking for clues or insights into what may have happened. I will take from each of you. You guys can decide. I will take a single survival check, take a single investigation check, single nature check, a single arcana check, and a single history check. 5 checks. Each of you can make one.
Yeah.
Unless there's another skill that you think would lend itself to this challenge.
Of all those skills, my highest is Arcana. I'll be next to useless with all the other ones.
History is mine.
I have a 5 in Arcana and investigation.
Did you switch into winter in the middle of the night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wise. Well done.
It's not why she can't help. At this point, she's too cold.
Yeah. He just whoosh, shift.
So we have Fable on Arcana. Fable on Arcana. Saride on Investigation. Sirach, do you want to cover survival?
Yeah, +6.
And then what were the other options that you gave us as like vanilla options before we have to get creative?
Nature?
History and nature.
Which one do you want those in?
History I'm better at. I'm not good with nature.
I will do nature then.
Okay.
Are you good at investigation, Thozen? Okay.
I'm proficient in history, that's why.
When you tell me your number, remind me what you rolled, and we'll hold on to them because I'll sort of address each one in order. Okay. Starting with Stitch.
So that was an 11 nature.
11 nature. Okay. One of the things that you can tell is that you guys are near the tree line. It's within sight, right? It is odd that the trees have not spread further into the south. There's no natural reason that they would not have. There is something unnatural, very specifically, that prevents that forest from expanding. There's no deforestation happening. There's no great climate change. The trees are, you can see them, they're pretty coniferous, right? They're sort of tall pine trees and things like that. Very much northern evergreens and those sorts of things. Yeah, but they should still be able to extend a little further south. There's no reason. It's not like the climate is that much warmer, and it's a little odd. Okay, Fable.
A 16 on Arcana.
16 on Arcana. You do recognize some of the damage to the ground and to some of the found planks of wood and wheels and caravan pieces and things like that. You can tell the telltale signs of evocation magics, right? Burnt grounds that haven't had the chance to heal over, decimated areas of grass that were completely destroyed and ripped away there is definitely signs of a magical battle passing through here, and it does in some ways very much remind you of the magical skills that the the caravan would have possessed. So you
Does
guys,
it look like they would have done so in defense? Or is this just them, like, does it look like they would have had reason to use these skills, or they were just using it to exist?
It's there's too much of it.
Got it, not a problem, yeah.
Yeah, it's not, you do think it is, the only necessity you could see is being attacked.
Figured I would ask.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So right.
9 investigation.
Okay.
Oh, that sounds like the opening for a news. 9 investigation.
9 investigation.
Divide land here.
Yes.
You have a hard time finding like all the tracks and pieces with the caravan. You don't necessarily know where the main body of the caravan would have went. One of the things that is a little easier on the investigation side to find, you can tell where something extremely heavy was being sort of wheeled about. You can see, I'm going to call it like the dirt medieval equivalent of like skid marks, because it very much reminds you of the extremely heavy Wilder wagons, the adamantine wheeled ones, and you can sort of see, because they've always been at the head of the caravan, it looks very much like this attack came from behind, and they had wheeled about to come and offer assistance at some point. Sirach. I can't hear you, Sirach.
Well, fine. I'll hit the button like we're supposed to.
He's in a library. He has to be quiet. Can't you tell?
Shh, shh. Now, rolled a 17 plus 6 for 23
Survival?
on survival.
Okay. You do a better job of picking up the tracks and the trail. One of the things that you can see, you don't find the base wreckage of the 2 wagons that were lost. A lot of that is very spread out, very sort of scattered, and a lot of it's probably been picked through and picked up. You do find some actual like tracks. A lot of this has been disrupted. It's been a long time since anyone's been here. It's almost a month, right? But one of the things that is frozen in the ground, in the dense mud, is you recognize the tracks of hobgoblins, of bugbear, at least one, probably a few, and there are the smaller tracks that do lead north, slightly northeast, and you can see the sort of disruption that happened with them. So you can, you think you could follow them into the forest. And Thosin.
That is also a 23 for history.
23 for history. Okay. You know, historically, that it's almost odd as far as goblinoids go, but the ones that are most equipped for ambushes, or the ones that carry them out most, are in fact the largest, the shock troopers, the bugbears. And with that in mind, looking towards the north in the forest, you are able to, the tracks of the large armies are, they march, they're heavy, right? The hobgoblins travel in lines. You know that the bugbears are actually tougher to track, even though they are bigger. And looking at the formations in some of these tracks in the dirt and in the ground, you know how many people they would normally travel with, right? So about 12 to 18 is a hobgoblin unit, right? And when you go over the information with Sirach, you know that they don't have any support wagons or items or trains or anything like that, right? So they are within 3 days of some sort of camp from here. Now it might just be a stop by like way station, but you know that that about within 3 days of here, there's a place that they would have needed to regroup, because feeding that many people, they only carry light rations. At that point, they're only traveling with like their packs, and that's not the way the army travels, right? An army like that travels in large groups, and they need large supplies.
Got it.
I'm assuming we're all disseminating all of the information that good. Well, it sounds like, I don't know, if any of our caravan friends had a chance of escaping, getting away, that might have been a place where someone might have seen them. I mean, that's where I would backtrack to, is a way station. The last place I remembered having actual contact with somebody.
Would have been a hobgoblin way station. That's where the hobgoblins.
I think
I stand by that. I would still try to escape and hide somewhere.
Sure.
Rather than out we're in the frozen wastelands. If they have no supplies, I'd take my fucking chances.
so. I have a feeling, and I start pointing out different tracks. With what Thosin was saying, that a lot of the hobgoblins and bugbears probably were near or from this way station, and that might have been where they met up with the Pale brothers. But if you look at these tracks, they're a little bit more distinct than the other tracks that we're dealing with, and I'm wondering if we follow those, maybe we'll have more of a idea of where they might have taken Wyatt.
Also, not to you have a point. If they met up with the Pale brothers before, they at least would have been welcome in the Hobgoblin way station without being attacked. Is there a chance we could decept our way into there and convince them that we were associates of the Pale Brotherhood? We know enough about them. We know enough that we might be able to, instead of just sneak in through the way station, we might be able to lie and say that we were one of the assassin groups sent to hunt people down. Perhaps.
We have the quarry with us.
I think she had a hat of disguise. I think we were discussing she might have had one. I would not take her in there if we didn't. If not, then never mind.
She does not.
But
She does not. She was looking for one and couldn't find one.
And the gentlemen in they're from someplace else that we can't be from.
no, associates of, not actually part of their group. Like, we knew them. We're mercenaries. We've worked with them before. But no, that's fair.
If we can, I think if we see some tracks that we don't think will lead toward the way station, I think that's probably our best bet. We follow the tracks of the people that were doing the smaller ambush, because if what Thosin was saying is that the large armies have to have a bunch of food, so they had to have a way station, but the ambushes of the bugbears and hobgoblins are smaller, then there's a possibility that they might have just been completely separate and just going ahead and didn't go back to the way station. So if we have some extra tracks, I wonder if that's the better first first point of contact.
Cody, quick question. The
Mhm.
extra tracks, they didn't by any chance look like pinpricks in the dirt and in the snow, as if maybe being dragged behind a giant spider that can phase in and out of existence by any chance, were there?
Thanks for reminding me those existed.
Yeah, no problem. Glad to help out.
Fuck.
You do in fact find that there are some phase spider tracks. Yes.
Beautiful.
I hate this game.
I think we should follow these.
So all the tracks, I will go ahead and let you guys know as you start to look into these things. The tracks of the Pale Brothers, the main army, and the Phase Spiders all sort of go in the same direction. They go towards the encampment. As you are traveling, you will notice that Hobgoblin tracks sort of break off in these smaller groups, and it is more just a warning that you guys should be prepared for potential Hobgoblin ambush.
Gotcha.
Great.
Thozen, you're gonna see him kind of like look around and noticing these little things. I actually prepared this. He's gonna mutter a few words in Orcish, usually the word search, and his foggy eye is gonna gloss over and turn green as he casts locate creature. And I'm specifically looking for hobgoblins. It says that I can locate that any creature that describes that within 1,000 feet of me for the next hour. I'm gonna keep it up.
Okay.
Now's when you use haste. Now's when we pick up the pace. You use that hour to the best of our advantage and cover as much space as possible.
I can do it twice, but it is the highest spell that I can cast right now.
But also, once we're in the forest, I'm very agile.
What a good combination of everything. And the Soraya and I are just like music and stories, where they're like searching things. We're just here to look pretty today.
I'm pretty.
I have an egg.
Looking at the time, I need you guys have to make a character decision that will impact next week.
Got it.
Next week we'll be traveling in through the forest and attempting to save Wyatt, or at the very least scouting out that encampment, right? Are you guys going to risk treasure in that jailbreak attempt, or attempt to use her as some form of bargaining tool? Here's my question: if proceeding forward from here, if we may be in a place where it's like, if we stop, we need the exact cast back, or which is fine if treasure isn't to be included in risk. I mean, they clearly want her, and while I'm sure she has the opinion that she should run in there and sword ablaze, bash and batter, you guys are her friends and can potentially outvote her. It's just something I would like to be considered.
I do think now is the time to take advantage of the fact that the actual actors involved are in the middle of a move, and I think I'm good with coming back to week to cast the same. I know all three of their current missing cast members are in the middle of a move. Yeah. We cannot necessarily guarantee that they're, and then Carlos is going to be out the later half of the month. So this feels like the right time to just decide that this is the exact group for next week as well. And we can convince Treasure to, like, just from a backstage perspective, and we can convince Treasure that it's not safe for her to be here. However, if we need her to be a distraction or come running in, we know that Thozen has sending. We know he can reach her and tell her.
Okay.
But that's my 2 cents.
Ditto.
Okay. Sounds good. I just wanted to confirm. Okay? Because
I just want an HP sponge, and we don't have one.
We have Thozen.
Yeah, but Thosin's also the thing that keeps us all from dying, so I don't technically want him.
Nah, that's
What am
survive.
I doing? Do you see me? Am I here? Is
Yeah,
my
that's
camera
survive.
on? Disrespect me as your healer one more fucking time, bird boy, and we'll see how fast your ass gets roasted.
I love you so much. You're welcome. You're wonderful. You're seen and
Who pulled
appreciated.
you out of a T-Rex? Who pulled you out of a T-Rex?
Oh my god.
Dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow.
Okay.
Anyway,
I would like you. Sounds good. Oh wow. Okay, here we go. I apologize. That threw me. That threw me hard. Okay, here we go. You guys begin to travel into the forest, correct? I'm going to say that you guys get to the edge of the forest. You perhaps leave the wagons there. They don't do great in this underbrush in this forest. Okay. I need 2 of you to roll me d20s.
Who's feeling lucky? I'll do the other one, I guess. Yep. Big boulder boy.
Okay.
$19.
17.
It's going to be very, very, very bad.
Hey!
Yeah.
there you go. You were just talking about telling stories and singing songs. There you go.
That's what we're here to do.
As you guys are traveling, I would like to Rock, because you know Forest so very well. I would like you to make a perception check with advantage, and I would like you to use your perception as a floor, your passive perception as a floor.
All right, so that's 15. Oh, good. 15 plus perception 6 for 21.
21. Okay. You can tell that something's definitely wrong in the woods. Some of the trees that you've passed, they're not quite the evergreen trees. They're not quite the tall, domineering pines and things like that. They're a little shorter. They are a little more wilted, a little more perhaps oak-like or not the coniferous trees. You took note of them because they stood out, for sure. There's something about the bark that is sort of ashen white, and yet underneath it, it's almost as though the deeper portions are charcoal black. You had noticed them a few hours ago, and you seem to have passed them again multiple times since, and you thought, being knowing the forest as well as you do, that maybe you were going in circles. Maybe there was something forcing you to lose your way. But no, you marked some other trees. You check some tracks. The tracks are all there. They don't circle back on each other. You're not passing all of the same trees. It's almost as though these particular trees were following you somehow. You've reached that conclusion. You don't You don't say anything just yet.
Do
But
I know anything about like sentient trees?
You can make a nature check if you would like.
Can I assist him based off of stories of these fucking trees coming to life?
Sure. Yeah.
Based off of Matthew calling it an hour and a half ago.
Hey!
Well, no, it's because of fucking Cody. Cody telling me that this goddamn forest comes to life and not to be in here because crazy forest comes to life.
So
I literally.
Sorry,
Go
go
for
on. Yeah, I got a dirty 20.
Thousand, was there something you wanted to add?
Oh, I was just gonna add that literally said trees bend to military's will, like, and march to their master. Were the exact words he said.
Oh my god, we're just outside of Macbeth's castle.
I want Fanghorn, but that works too.
Dunsinane Wood is coming. Oh god.
First the trees, then the windmills.
And your bird is mad about it.
Constantly.
The
That was Sirach.
you think there's something about that these trees are following you. There's something that happens to the land, to the living parts of it, the trees, the plants specifically, when an area is saturated, when it's soaked in dark energy and black magic, when it permeates the very earth and is eaten into the trees itself. You've heard of them in smaller doses. Nothing this big.
I'm gonna, because I figure I've been like flying around and marking things, I'm gonna like hang back and I'm gonna like get pretty close to Saride, and I'm just gonna say, start spreading the word quietly as you can. But I think the trees might literally be alive. And I don't mean like, of course trees are living and the spirits are connected and I know every rock and tree. I mean, I think they're actually walking and moving and following us. So, just quietly make sure everyone knows to keep an eye out.
She'll start using all her copper jewelry and cast message to everybody.
Okay. You guys hear the word spread. Your eyes sort of cast about. Now the rest of you begin to notice the trees as well. One of the things as you continue to travel, do you continue to travel or are you just like stopping and gonna start attacking trees? It's up to, I mean, I don't want to assume what you're doing. Well, okay, I'm getting walking. Great.
Thank you.
Yeah? Good? Okay. Cool. As you guys continue to walk, you start to notice the roots of the trees. And suddenly, with great speed and precise precision, these the grappling roots of blighted black wood raise up and begin to attack two of you with the grasping roots, two of you with branches, and so we're gonna do top two, bottom two. Or hold on, let's see. We got a D6. Yeah, there we go. So Rock, you are the one that is not getting attacked. So branches for Clever Stitch and Fable. Fable is a natural 1. Clever Stitch is a 28 to hit. That's going to be 19
Misses.
points. 19 points of bludgeoning damage. And Saride and Thozen. Thozen, that's a natural 20. Saride, that is a 16. Okay.
I mean, it's a natural 20 for me.
Yeah. I know. So on the natural 20, that is going to be 18 points of bludgeoning damage. And for Saride, that is going to be 10 points of bludgeoning damage. Oh, I apologize. Technically, you don't take any hit point damage. You're just both grappled. Target is grappled. Until the grapple ends at the start of your turn, you're going to take that bludgeoning damage. So,
So hold off on it, or are you going to roll it again?
no. You're actually not going to take that damage because I believe this is where we're going to call it a night.
Fuck!
Oh god.
Just because of what I'm doing tomorrow night, and I am extremely excited.
You're making tree bastards.
He's making ATM things.
So the Blight of the Wood is the mythic
the
blight.
agency.
It's the mythic blight that I made last week.
Yep, if you're on our Patreon at $5 and above, you can watch Cody build that.
A to
last
Z
week
monstrosities. This is the first AZM mythic monster that I get to run, and I'm excited for that.
And I heard parts of it, and I'm scared.
I
didn't hear enough, and I'm still scared. So, yep, same group next time, same bat time, same bat channel, same bat blight bastards.
Yep. So I'm a little excited about that. I had the roll off. Fable was green, so she's the blight, or it was the mythic bugbear that I made was Saride.
All right, we'll do the blight. I feel like I can set those on fire better.
We'll find out. We'll see.
You adorable little pyromaniac.
I'm just gonna set
That's
myself
good.
on fire and run through the woods.
Awesome. Well,
I'd love to, but I'm currently restrained.
You are
I'll run at
grappled
you first.
and restrained.
Well,
And not by
that note,
Thozen for the first time in like 5 months.
Awesome, guys. So thank you so much for okay, that didn't need to make that noise. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and having a great day for playing. We are going to be back tomorrow night. I'm trying to read our thing.
I've got it. Tuesday nights, as of right now, are a rotating variety creative stream. Anything from Minnie's painting to me writing to Cody building monsters to all combinations of those things, cosplay crafting, what have you. Wednesdays, we have a new show coming soon, and it's technically on the thing, but for the next week or so, we are going to be doing, and possibly a little longer, we're going to be doing some character and world building for you to explain the world, but we don't want to lose momentum on that, so we want to not just like let it be world building for a month and a half, but we also want to talk to you about this exciting new game. So if you want to catch up on what it's going to be and get to know the world a little bit as we build characters and talk about it and answer your questions, that's this Wednesday. Thursday is every week The Archives with Megan and Eric. They talk about everything you saw here tonight and answer any of your questions behind the scenes or not. It's a great time to come chat, and they're going to have Carlos with them this week. So it's a great time to ask any questions about past episodes, this week's episode, what they think is going to happen in the future. They run a great damn show. Friday is Diablo. It is team streaming with Cody, Matthew, Megan, and Caitlin Wisser, who also runs our Sunday night solo video game right now with Mass Effect Andromeda. It is a good time all around. And for our patrons with AZM, when are you doing that this week, babe?
Saturday. Saturday is the patron AZM. Up next, if I am building monsters tomorrow for creative, it is going to be a bullet. If I do the bullet tomorrow, then we got bullywugs on Saturday. If not, patrons get the bullet on Saturday, and we'll do something else tomorrow. But for
Alright.
Wednesday, if you guys don't know, we're going to be playing Through the Breach, which is the TTRPG version of the minis game Malifaux from Weird Games, WYRD. It's a really awesome world. It is alternate history, neo-gothic horror, steampunk magic. So is how they actually describe it. It's a different system. It's a lot of fun. We're going to be doing character building for that. So that's really awesome.
All right.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We're going to see you next time. But until then, be cool.